Today we're diving into a heated topic: women's body count and the social debates that surround it. This issue sparks strong opinions on both sides, touching on privacy, self-worth, and relationship expectations. We'll explore why some women refuse to answer questions about their sexual history and why some men feel compelled to ask. As we move through this discussion, we'll look at the psychological, social, and personal factors that shape these conversations. Let's begin by understanding the core of the debate and why it matters so much in modern dating culture. And asked about her body count, the woman in our discussion makes her stance clear. She will immediately cut off contact with any man who brings it up. She believes that such questions are rooted in male insecurity and reflect a lack of trust. For her, the number is private, and she feels that being asked reduces her worth to a statistic. This reaction highlights a growing sentiment among women who see these inquiries as intrusive and judgmental. It's a boundary that many are setting in today's dating world, emphasizing respect and personal privacy. Conversation quickly turns to the stigma attached to women's body counts. Many men, consciously or not, use this number as a measure of a woman's worth or suitability as a partner. This double standard is deeply rooted in societal expectations, where women are often judged more harshly for their sexual history than men. The woman in our discussion warns that a man's focus on body count can signal deeper insecurities and a lack of maturity. This stigma not only affects how women are perceived, but also how they perceive themselves. Another key point raised is the privacy of personal health information. For many women, their sexual history is as private as their medical records. They argue that sharing such details should be a personal choice, not a requirement in dating. This perspective challenges the idea that partners are entitled to every detail of each other's past. It also raises questions about trust and boundaries in relationships. Respecting privacy can be a sign of mutual respect and emotional maturity. Transitioning to a more scientific angle, the host introduces psychological and social research on female promiscuity. Multiple studies have found a strong correlation between higher body counts and negative mental health outcomes, such as increased depression and higher divorce rates. These findings challenge the push to normalize promiscuity, suggesting that there may be real psychological consequences. The host emphasizes that these are not just opinions but evidence-based observations, adding a layer of complexity to the debate. Delving deeper into the research, the host summarizes that women with higher body counts are statistically more likely to experience depression and relationship instability. These outcomes are not guaranteed, but the correlation is significant enough to warrant attention. The discussion here is not about shamming but about understanding potential risks. By acknowledging these findings, the conversation shifts from moral judgment to informed awareness, encouraging viewers to consider the psychological aspects of their choices. Research also points to a higher likelihood of divorce among women with more sexual partners before marriage. This statistic is often cited in debates about the importance of sexual history in long-term relationships. The host clarifies that while these numbers don't determine individual outcomes, they do highlight patterns that are worth considering. This scene encourages a nuanced view, recognizing both the data and the individuality of each relationship. Make the topic more relatable, the host introduces a car analogy. He compares assessing a woman's past relationships to checking a vehicle's history before purchase. Just as buyers want to know how many previous owners a car has had, some men are curious about a woman's past partners. This analogy, while controversial, illustrates how people often use past experiences to gauge future reliability. It also exposes the double standards and cultural biases that shape these attitudes. Host explores how men and women are held to different standards regarding sexual history. In many cultures, men are praised for experience, while women are judged for the same behavior. This double standard affects dating dynamics and shapes expectations on both sides. By examining these cultural norms, the discussion reveals how deeply ingrained these beliefs are and how they influence personal choices and societal judgment. Tension shifts to the timing of relationship choices. The host discusses how women who wait until later in life to seek stable relationships may face additional challenges if they have a promiscuous past. The dating market, he argues, often values youth and perceived purity, putting pressure on women to settle down earlier. This scene highlights the societal expectations that influence when and how women pursue long-term partnerships. Host elaborates on the idea of market value in dating. He suggests that a woman's desirability may decrease if she's perceived as having a high body count, especially when seeking a serious relationship later in life. This perspective, while controversial, reflects real pressures many women feel. The discussion encourages viewers to consider how these market dynamics impact self-esteem and relationship choices. As women decide to settle down, the consequences of their past choices become more pronounced. The host discusses how some women feel increased pressure to find a stable partner, especially if their history is scrutinized. This scene explores the emotional and social challenges of transitioning from casual dating to seeking commitment, and how past experiences can shape future opportunities. Conversation turns to strategies for evaluating long-term relationship candidates. The host notes that men often look for honesty and transparency, but getting truthful answers about body count can be difficult. Some women may omit significant ex-partners, either to protect their privacy or to avoid judgment. This scene highlights the challenges of building trust and the importance of open communication in serious relationships. Building on the previous point, the host discusses why honesty about body count is so challenging. Fear of judgment, loss of respect, or even relationship breakdowns can make women reluctant to share their full history. This reluctance is not always about deception but often about self-protection. The scene underscores the need for empathy and understanding from both partners when navigating sensitive topics. In conclusion, the debate over women's body count is complex, involving personal boundaries, societal expectations, and psychological factors. Both men and women face pressures and judgments that can impact their relationships and self-worth. By examining research, cultural norms, and individual perspectives, we gain a deeper understanding of why this topic remains so controversial. Ultimately, respect, empathy, and honest communication are key to navigating these sensitive issues in modern dating.